Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight we are live. Stephen Schnee is back. Tonight we are talking the Romantics. They have an interesting catalog, and we're going to keep it loose tonight. Steve and I are going to get into it. I want to hear from you in the chat. Let's do
Grant is changing the world one track at a time on Grant's Rock Warehouse.
Mr. Schnee, nice to see you tonight.
Nice to see you, Grant. How are you?
We've already got 14 people watching. I want to welcome everybody here to the show. It's nice to have Stephen Schnee back. I feel like I haven't seen Steve in a month, but he's back, and we're going to talk the Romantics, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, let's see who's here in the chat already. Now we're going to get more people. We got 17. Harv is here. Annie T is. Who's always late?
You are.
I'm not. Hey,
I don't think I've ever done a show where you've done it on time.
It doesn't. I'm busy.
Yeah.
We got Moon Invader. Nice to see you. Empty Glass.
Jim.
God, darn it. Jim, Gary Wilkerson. So they're all your people that are watching.
No.
Kathy's here too.
Hi, Kathy. Moon Invader and Harvard are your people. Ash is.
What about Jimmy Duster Music?
Jimmy, I don't.
Our people.
Yeah, our people.
You're all our people. Look, wait a minute. Harv says, "Is Schnee inside?" I know, right? I'm used to him just being outside all the time. To see him inside is kind of weird for me.
Yeah.
Ash, how are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for coming on and supporting. So if anybody here, if you could give us a thumbs up, that'd be great. Anyway, we are going to talk the Romantics. Now, if you don't know the Romantics, we'll fill you in a little bit. Of course, they were an American rock band formed on Valentine's Day in 1977. Now, this catalog, I have a love-hate relationship with it. There are things on here that I love. They're power pop, new wave things I love. You know, they're drawing a lot from the 50s rock and roll, the Beatles, the MC5, Stooges, things like that. But primarily, I think they draw a lot from like 1960s garage rock and the British invasion bands. But this catalog is kind of all over the place. I mean, I don't know. What's your initial thoughts on this band?
My thoughts on the Romantics is I've never really considered them a power pop band, which a lot of people like to lump them in with power pop. They're a garage rock band, and a very good one, a melodic one.
Yeah.
But they're also heavily into, British invasion stuff. What I want to point out though, and I'm going to make a YouTube short on this. I was trying to do it before the show started, but I had to work so late. Okay, look at the picture of the band right there.
Yes.
Left to right, it's Wally Palmer, rhythm guitar and vocals, Mike Skill, lead guitar, Rich Cole on bass, and Jimmy Marinos on drums. Now, here's a cool thing about when that first album came out, maybe the second album, on vinyl, all the songs were credited to Paul Marino Skill. They would just combine their names into one long name. So it was Palmer, Marinos, and Skill, but they just spelled out Paul Marino Skill. But the CDs don't do that. So if anybody has the album, double check that for me. But here's something that I wanted to bring up that harkens back to the British invasion. Is everybody familiar with that album cover?
I've never seen it before.
Okay, now everybody instantly says this album is a Meet the Beatles with the Beatles ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first off, some of those guys are smiling. The other two are cranky. Here, they're just cranky. And there are so many album covers that paid homage to it, like the Utopia. But I'm going to point out that the closest that anybody got to really paying real homage to, not the Knack, to the Beatles.
Damn it. Yeah.
If you look at this picture, now it's in a different order, but John Lennon, rhythm guitar player. Look at the left over there. That's Wally Palmer, rhythm guitar
Yeah.
player. George Harrison, lead guitar player. Mike Skill in the middle, lead guitar. Bass player, Paul McCartney. Bass player, Rich Cole. And then drummer Ringo. Drummer Jimmy Marino. I don't think that anybody really noticed that the Romantics album cover is a direct homage, maybe even more so than the Knack.
I was thinking maybe the first Kiss album, but it doesn't have the proper order. But the first Kiss album looks a hell of a lot more like.
I think that this was intentional, because I don't think that would be a coincidence.
I've
So,
never looked at this cover and thought Beatles to me.
right. But it makes total sense.
It does.
But even with him being down lower, Jimmy Marinos is down lower.
Yeah. Looking
Except
at this, no, that's not going to work.
I mean, look, the Beatles could have been wearing their red, yellow.
That's not going to.
The Beatles could have been wearing their red leather jackets as well. But no, that first album is a direct influence or homage to the Beatles. Meet the Beatles. Blah blah blah.
But
and he says my theory is weak. No, it's not. I can tell you that right now.
Jesus. Don't get her pissed off. He didn't mean it.
Yeah, I did.
It's okay. Shh. Don't get her worked up.
It is not weak.
Look, there's DC. If the Beatles would have been smiling on Meet the Beatles, it would have looked creepy.
True.
Well, Doug Feiger looks kind of creepy on that Knack cover, don't you think?
Yeah. It's like half the band is creepy and the other half aren't.
Yeah. With the Beatles, yeah, 100%. Well, yeah. I'm just saying, but that Romantics cover with the skinny ties, the red suits, it screams new wave.
I bought it without hearing anything. I had
it's my subscription. You don't have a subscription. Anyway, go ahead.
I bought the album unheard. I had not heard What I Like About You, because it wasn't getting played on the radio, at least that I heard yet. And it was, I took it home. I noticed that Pete Solly had produced it, and he had produced some really good records that came out. And I was quite excited about it. Now, was I expecting power pop or more power pop? Yes. But what I got was some great melodic garage rock. I mean, it owed more to Detroit than it did to Liverpool.
I would agree.
And then after this album came out, there was an EP that came out on Bomb Records out of Canada.
That was first, though, wasn't it? No.
No, it actually could have been, but it didn't infiltrate the U.S. market until after this album. At least I never saw it. I would have bought it, the minute it came out. So it really is something to cough about.
Changing the layout.
This first album, What I Like About You, is now a classic. It is. I mean, I remember it being on Knott's Berry Farm commercials. It was, it's been used in movies, commercials, and I think, though, my favorite song on the album is the opener, When I Look in Your Eyes. But it just has that hard, edgy guitar. I mean, these guys work up a sweat in the studio.
Well, the beautiful thing about it, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Beautiful thing about this record are the guitar sounds, because they're not distorted.
Yeah.
Most of it, you can tell it's a Rickenbacker, which it should be. What I Like About You is total Rickenbacker. That guitar sound, it harkens back to the Beatles. It harkens back to that tone John Lennon had. Hard edge, playing on a short scale guitar, but this record harkens back to mid-60s to me.
Yeah.
100%. And the fact that they did something like that in 1980 I just find it fascinating. what they've done, the songwriting, the production, Pete Sully, right? Was it Pete?
Yeah. Pete Solly produced it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And I think this is a wonderful debut album. I like all the songs. I wish I could pick out something that I don't like, but I don't.
Yeah. It's a
What I like about you, when I
strong
look in
album.
your eyes, tell it to carry.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. But I would call it power pop adjacent if I'm
Yeah.
gonna really do it, because it's Steve, it's close enough to power pop that some people are gonna look at it and go, "Oh, that's power pop." And
Yes.
maybe, yeah.
Right. But what I'm saying is it's genuinely not power pop. There's more of a rock edge to it, more of
Right,
um a dirty side to it. And power pop
right,
usually isn't dirty, and when I talk about dirty, I don't mean like dirty. I'm talking about, you know, y- you can you can smell the floorboards of a club, and or the beer stained floorboards, and the all that kind of stuff. You can smell the sweat. I mean, this is good dirty rock and roll with great hooks.
You know, Trey has a good points, probably because they've recorded this damn album in those damn leather suits.
Well, it's funny because generally speaking, when you put
Oh, look at this. Oh.
um because music has to be labeled for people to let people know what something sounds like. So if they go, I don't know what the Romantics sound like, if you have some kind of label and they're interested in that kind of style, they'll be drawn to that. And if something's prog, if something is country or Americana, it's easier for someone like us. Do I sit there and go, oh yeah, I'm going to listen to this band because they're power pop? Or do I listen to a band and do I think this is power pop? I don't do that in my own mind. But if I want to describe something, if somebody wants to know what a band sounds like, I'll say, oh, it's kind of like this, power pop adjacent, hooks, harmonies, things like that. So that's kind of why music is labeled.
Power pop is allowed to smell manly.
Yeah.
DC has a good point. I thought we all agreed this is melodic garage.
Yeah.
I can go with that.
Right. But it's also power pop adjacent.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think if you're a fan of the Knack, if you're a fan of 2020, if you're a fan of Shoes and other power pop bands, I think this can go with those hand in hand.
Yeah.
And you won't look at it and go, "Oh, yeah, it sticks out." It doesn't stick out.
Yeah.
But I think this album's a great record.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 great albums in the catalog.
Mm-hmm.
This is one. And the other one we'll talk about, we haven't gotten there yet, but it's just I just have a love-hate the records that I love so much that it just absolutely kills me when I listen to, like, another record that I don't like. What are we doing?
I have two versions. Same exact album. One's the Sony,
That's what I've got.
right, and then
What is that?
what's that one label that put out all those motels and stuff? Hold on, I'll see. It's a little cardboard
American
sleeve.
Beat?
No, not American. American Beat put out the first 2 albums on one disc.
Yeah.
It is the label. Oh, I can't see, but yeah, doesn't
Vision's
matter.
everything.
But yeah, I know. But it has a black record or a
Mhm.
black disc.
Oh, yeah, usually a lot of their stuff's jacked up.
Yeah.
Um, oh, crap. They put out the whole catalog, I think, pretty much.
I think they put out 3 that I know of because I have 3. But it's the same exact album. I think probably the same master too.
I
So
can't think.
yeah.
The brain.
Yeah. Someone out there will let
Steven
us
wants to know if we consider Replacements power pop, and I'd say
know.
no.
No.
No. Pop says no. Is Naughty here? I'll be damned. Harv, I like 3 out of the first 4. Well, Harv, we're going to get to it. John says power pop was not a thing or a genre of music at the time. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
The Romantics hit it big. The videos were cool, the fashions were hip, and the songs were melodic and catchy. Well put, John. DJ Trish, nice to see you. She's Got Everything from this album is my second favorite tune. Great song. The whole record is great. I have no issues with any of the tracks. Sequencing's good. The songwriting's great. The production's great. I like it. But someone like, oh, here we go. But someone like me doesn't know the difference between art rock, prog rock, booty rock. What's booty rock?
Well, then, I mean,
can't you look that stuff up? You've got a computer. You can go and look that stuff up.
No, don't make it too
What?
hard on Annie.
She's limited, isn't she?
No, I'm not saying that, but
I think she's limited.
Oh,
wait a
no.
minute. Yeah, you can say hello.
Yeah, Jillian, you can totally say hello. Hello,
Jillian. Here, I'll give you a link. You can come up. Exit Music says, what I like about this band, they really know how to dance. All right. Well, anyway, I think this is a great record.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's move on to the second album, which is National Breakout. Also came out in 1980. This record, the thing is, this is just my whole take. You can beat me up or not. I don't think that the songs on this record are as good. I think that there's definitely been it's Pete Solly doing the production, which I'm for. But this sounds like a perfect bridge between Strictly Personal and the debut. You're starting to get guitars with distortion. You're starting to get in it. You're losing that catchy 60s vibe. Now, I get it. You're trying to grow as a band. But I think they lost something. And I don't know. This came out in 1980. And I definitely hear, though you may disagree, I don't think the songs are quite as good as what came before.
My whole thoughts on National Breakout, if you want to put the album cover up so people know.
Oh, yeah, that might help so people aren't. Here you go.
I remember
try to find this CD, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck.
You mean this one?
Yeah, but how often do you see that in the wild?
Well, if you go to the American Beat, go to Discogs, and there's I don't know where mine is. I must have sold it.
What version's that?
This is the one on Sony.
That's what I've got.
Or on Columbia. But there is an American Beat CD that has the first 2 albums on one disc.
Yeah, and it's expensive.
Is it expensive? Okay.
Yeah, all that American Beat stuff, no one bought it. No wonder they folded up shop.
Yeah, I used to deal with that guy directly in terms of talked with him all the time. And he made a couple bad moves. He put out the Haircut 100 album, which is already had been reissued 2 or 3 times in the UK. But generally speaking, he was doing great work.
So what killed it? I know we're on a tangent, but damn it, this is what we do when Schnee's on the channel. So what killed American Beat?
I think what killed American Beat is that he was putting out really cool music that people like us bought, but not the general public. He put out D.L. Byron. He put out Brian Setzer.
Wounded Bird does that, though.
I know, but Wounded Bird probably does it on a smaller level. American Beat, yeah. American Beat was a great label, and you should pick up anything on the label. But my thoughts on National Breakout is 2 things. Number one, if you considered the first album power pop, you went into this album thinking it was going to be another power pop album. This is the album that proves that they're a garage band, because this is more of a garage band record. Now, this is the album I remember buying this. I could not believe that they put out an album so quick. And what I tend to think is that they're expecting the band to go on tour, I don't know if they actually went back in the studio and recorded a second album, or if these were like leftovers.
Well, it sounds totally different.
Um,
I
I
would
don't
say
think
they're
so. I
probably
think
leftovers. No, the guitars do not sound like the guitars on the first record.
that this album is very garage. You know, you got songs like Tomboy and stuff like that. I don't. Okay, the songs aren't as
They're
good.
not as good. No.
Yeah. Let me see. Forever Yours is a great song. That could have gone on there's about 2 or 3 songs on this album that could have gone on the first album. The rest of it is stuff that maybe they didn't put on the first album because they go, that's not strong enough.
Maybe. But Steve, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I dislike this record.
Right.
It's sophomore slump material, but
I agree.
there's still good tracks on it.
Mhm.
I don't care for the guitars. I like my Romantics going clean into the amp and just hitting it hard. What
Right.
I like about you, the guitar on that, come on. Because you
Mhm.
can tell that's a Rick. Well, I can tell it's a Rickenbacker. Freaking kills. And I want more of that. But maybe I'm not the only one. Maybe they're just going with what they feel. But I would think with Pete Solly at the production, I just don't know. There's
I
not
think
a
they should have
whole lot
waited on a
about these
second album.
records.
They
I
should
think
have
they
waited
should have
on a
waited.
second album. Um,
And I don't
but
think the album artwork represents them. It's a departure than what we had on the first album.
yes,
I
that
mean, if you saw this and you knew the first album, I don't know, what would you think?
this cover is definitely an 80s album. Whereas the first one, you can tell it's an 80s rock album. This one, you go, this is an 80s album. You know, you can imagine, you know, that group right there singing Iran or, you know, something like that.
But
But
they don't look like the
no, but see, I think it's a really good, in fact, a really, really good, a fantastic garage rock album or a garage pop album. Um, but it's just the songs just aren't as good. I don't think that they're ready for the album. I think they just had a live set and that first album did so well, and then they threw them in the studio and said, do it again. And they had a certain amount of songs and they probably wrote a couple more and recorded everything. I think it was a bad move to throw them in the studio. Yeah, Friday at the Hideout is
it's
great.
fabulous. There are great songs on this record. Don't get me wrong.
There's
I'm
only
just
one or two that
saying,
I don't care for. I think the rest is fabulous. So
yeah,
I
I just
obviously
don't
like it
care
more
for the
than you.
production very much. I
Obviously,
like the more open. This just seems a more messy. The first album just seems to be more open. There's more air around everything. This just seems, let's just get distorted guitars and I don't know. It's a
yeah. Well,
lot more. I don't know. I don't
yeah,
care
yeah.
for
Randy
it.
also writes 21 Over. That's the standard Jimmy Marinos. See, because Wally Palmer sang most of the songs, and Jimmy Marinos sang 1 or 2 songs per album. Jimmy
Mhm.
Marinos, of course, he's the one who sang What I Like About You. So everyone thought he was going to be the lead vocalist when they bought the album, but it was actually Wally Palmer. I think it was the same thing that happened with Squeeze. All of a
Yeah.
sudden, the song "Cool for Cats" was a huge hit, and everyone expected going in and hearing, you know, the Indians, you know, that low voice, and then they got Glenn Tilbrook, who has this high McCartney-esque voice.
But there's a lot of contrast between those two. The the vocals in Romantics, I don't think are that far off from each other.
No, that's right, and I do love. I don't particularly like Jimmy Marinos always does kind of, since he's the drummer, he sings kind of the Ringo songs, the ones
Mhm.
that maybe Wally Palmer didn't want to sing. Um, 21 and Over is one of those, but then he got a chance. Uh, uh, you know, he got a chance and he's saying, you know, What I Like About You, and that's, you know, but Wally Palmer, I've heard Wally Palmer sing it live, and I don't think anyone's the wiser that that's not the guy that actually sang it on the record.
Mhm.
But I also love to hear Jimmy Marino's backing vocals on the songs, you know, like the call and
Yeah.
response.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
you know,
love it.
yeah.
X of Music said REM had the best Rick sound since the Birds. Well, No one could ever beat the Birds as far as a Rick 12 string sound. But REM, I think, is pretty damn good. But I do want to mention something that Trey said. Yes, Grant, that Rick sound on What I Like is reminiscent of Pictures of Lily,
Mm-hmm.
100%. But I think What I Like about you is a Rickenbacker 320. I think they were using the 320. That's what it sounds like to me. But I know that they had one. I just don't. You can't get a lot of information on the Romantics. There's
Yeah,
not
which
much
is
out there.
yeah, and the thing is, you're all talking about it, Rick. I think the person with the best Rick sound is Rick Springfield.
100%. Or Rick Ocasek. Not too
Ah,
bad.
yeah, no, but he spells it differently.
True. So anyway, this record, sophomore slump, not as good. Do you have anything
Mhm.
more to add about it?
No, I
I
just
don't
think it.
mind it. If I'm going to rank it, it's not my, you know, it's not at the end. I will
I,
say that.
I gave it another listen today, and each
Okay.
time I've listened to it, which is every couple of years, I like it a little bit more. Today, it just full on hit me. There's one or two tracks I didn't care for, but I just thought, man, if this had been the debut album, it would have done a lot better. And then if the debut had been their second album, then they would have been stars after that. But yes, I think that this is a very strong record. But compared to the first album, I think I think it's a disappointment.
Yeah. God, the guitar people are talking. Exit Music has a 66 330. I had a 66 360 12.
I had a
I've had a lot of
42 878.
I've had a lot of great guitars in my past. Stuff that I wish I hadn't. I had well, we know that story. I had a 61 Les Paul Jr. that I sold to Rick Nielsen. I wish I hadn't sold it, but whatever. It is what. I've had a lot of great stuff in my past. Anyway, sophomore slump. Let's jump to 1981, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm gonna, you know what, Schnee?
Mm-hmm.
I'm paying attention this time.
Oh,
You
good.
know what it is? You and I are getting on these musical tangents,
Mm-hmm.
and
It
I'm
matches
not
my
thinking
room,
about.
and
I'm not thinking about the graphic
yeah.
because we're just engaging. So anyway, strictly personal, 1981.
What a load of crap.
Mike Stone produced this. I don't know what happened to Pete on here, but I think it's continues on right where National Breakout left off, only
Nope.
to an extreme.
Nope.
No, to an extreme
No.
because
Don't
it's
ever don't
very
ever
distorted.
don't ever compare this chunk of junk to National
Well,
Breakout.
okay. Why is it a chunk of junk? Go ahead.
Well, because it's them being a very bad AOR band. I mean, this is stuff that would have been White Snake B-sides.
Oh,
Um, and Mike
I
Skill,
don't think it, but I, I think White Snake B sides is a bit extreme, Steve.
no, if okay,
Jesus.
what's the song? Like if you go back and listen to I think No One Like You, it totally sounds like it would have been a White Snake B-side. Um, yeah, no,
You,
uh, no offense to the guys or whatever. This sounds like the label saying, you know what? The second album, you made the album you wanted, it bombed. Now you're going to make the album that we
exactly.
want you to make.
But you know
Uh,
what?
what?
This album cover is totally misleading. If I'm looking at this cover, I'm totally thinking that I'm getting this.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
you are not. They
No,
should have
if
used this cover with
I
this
know
is does not reflect anything to the way the music sounds.
Mike
Anyway, go
Skill
on.
was gone by this time, by the way, replaced by Cos Candler, who I think sings lead on a couple songs
Mhm.
because there are a couple songs. I didn't read the liner notes, whatever, but there are a couple songs that are definitely not Wally Palmer or Jimmy Marinos.
Yeah. I
Now,
don't care for this album at all. Well, I I don't like it at all.
look,
I
I'll
don't
tell
care
you,
for it.
if
I don't think this Steve, I don't think the songs are here.
no,
I don't like what Mike Stone brought to the
nope,
band,
nope,
and I do agree with you 100%. I think the record company got involved and said, "You know what, boys? That
mm-hmm,
last record really didn't do anything."
mm-hmm.
I don't know what their contract was. Evidently, they had 2 more records. I agree. This is that third album thing. Boys, that second album didn't do anything.
We needed a little change of direction. And then they said, like, hey, have you guys heard the new Whitesnake album? No,
Yeah,
I mean,
this is
okay, I have to admit that I am exaggerating that a little bit, but
right.
it is so unlike the first 2 albums that it was a shock to the system. Um, like I said, National Breakout, first time I heard it, I was like, whoa, this is not pop, this is garage. But,
Mhm.
but I think it's, in 1980, I was 17 years old. Actually, I was 16 when the first album came out. I was 17 when the second album came out. So I would always process things compared to the last album. This isn't as good as the last album, right? A couple years later, I trained myself not to pay attention and compare it to the last album. I trained myself to think of this as a thing, totally on its own. So now when I listen to National Breakout, it's his own thing. And but Strictly Personal is strictly poop.
Well, the thing the thing is it my fault because I want more of the first album,
Uh-huh.
and I think that the Romantics in my monkey brain sound like that first album.
Right.
Am I not willing to grow with the band? Is it my fault? There's just something about it. It just doesn't connect with me at all.
Randy
Oh,
makes it
Dead Wax. That
that
cover looks
totally.
like a Robert Gordon album cover.
Yeah, what was it? Fresh Special? Is
Yeah.
that the one where Robert Gordon with the pink background? Or no, Bad Boy. No, I think he's thinking of the album Bad Boy.
Yeah.
I love Robert Gordon.
Pop goes, it's not you, Grant, it's them. Okay.
Yeah.
Little Billy Squire Light
Yeah,
could be. But
it's
the thing is, though, Empty Glass, is at least those Billy Squire songs are catchy. I don't hear anything on here. Where's the songwriting on this record? I don't hear it. Well, maybe it's me.
and I thank goodness that this is what I consider the only terrible album in their catalog.
I just think it's misguided.
Yes. And I'm thinking, like, do we blame that on Cos Candler? Did he come in and go, "Hey guys, you ever heard of
No.
David Coverdale?"
I blame the record company.
Yeah.
Telling Mike Stone, all right, Mike.
Right.
Mike, can you come over here? We need to talk a minute.
Yeah.
Because normally I don't mind Mike Stone's work. Look at he worked with Queen.
Yep.
He did April Wine.
Mm-hmm.
He
Didn't
did
he do,
Asia.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a lot of great stuff. I just don't understand what went wrong here.
Did he do Present Tense? Or am I wrong there? The Shoes album?
I think he did.
Mm.
And I don't have a problem with Present Tense at all. Yeah, he was involved with Shoes.
Yeah.
No catchy. Okay, DC. No catchy songs. No space on my shelf for this CD.
Well, you know what? For $20, DC, it's the thin thing. No, $25. It's a thin one, so you'll be able to fit it on your shelf. Send me $25. It's yours. So let's go on to the next one.
All right, next record. Now
this is stinking up the room there.
Now we're talking. This to me sounds like the follow-up to the debut album.
I don't know where you get that.
Oh, I think it's like, yeah, it's got the guitar sounds of the debut album, clean Rickenbackers all over it, with that punch, with that aggression, that sound like Pete Townsend on Pictures of Lily or whatever. It's got that all over it. All the songs are catchy. There's not a stinker in the batch. It's every bit as strong as the first album. it just seems like this is the album that follows the first album to me. Everybody, look, DC's going, now you're talking. Everybody in the chat, let me know.
You're
How do
talking
you
in your
look at this
sleep.
record? What?
Now you're talking
Your
in your
sleep.
sleep.
I'm just talking. Damn it. Anyway, go ahead.
No, are you familiar that there's a romantic song on this album called "Talking in Your Sleep"?
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. Okay. Here's my thoughts on this album. I think you're absolutely incorrect
Okay, why? How am I incorrect?
because I don't think it sounds like it would come right after the first album. I think this is an incredible album. I love this album, but I think it's a lot cleaner. It's
But it's the
better production.
guitars sound like the first album,
Yes, that is true, but it's a
so it's
cleaner,
better production.
but it is back to Pete Solly. They finally said, "Okay, Pete, you know what? We were wrong. We got Mike Stone in, and we made a mistake. Let's bring you back and do this."
The Schnee fan club.
But the thing is this is really a fantastic album. I love the fact that it's less powerful than the debut.
I don't agree.
No, I'm talking sonically. It is less powerful. The first album punches you in the face just with a change, you know,
I don't agree.
the in your face guitars. Oh, yeah, that's fine.
There's in your face guitars.
You
what starts
it's
out
totally
this
fine that you don't
album?
agree because you know you can be wrong.
I can't be wrong because it's my show.
You are wrong.
I'm not.
It should say Schnee's Rock Warehouse. And
I can't. But listen to me. This starts up with Rock You Up. What about Rock? You don't think Rock You Up isn't something that would have fit on the first record?
If it was produced a little dirtier. No, see, I love this album. I think this album is almost on par with the first album. I do, but I think it's cleaner production.
This might even be better.
I think it's cleaner production. I love, absolutely love the instrumental interplay on
I'm not like the Waxed.
Oh yeah, you are.
Am I?
Oh, totally.
No.
Yes, you are. Everyone talks about it on the internet.
Bullshit. Bullshit, Schnee.
But I love the musical interplay on Talking in Your Sleep because you've got the bass doing the boom, 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 and then you've got a guitar going ding, 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 you know, or playing a little riff, and then you got the other guitar going ding, 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 you know. So you got these three different things doing, or three instruments doing three different things, and it all comes together. I've seen bands do that song live, and all the instruments on stage, whether it's guitar, keyboard, bass, they're all going bump, 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 bump. Nobody's playing those other two or three parts. It's but it's this album I think is just fan-friggin-tastic. It's not garage like the
you can't do that.
I can. I got a Mac.
Yeah, not like mine. It's not doing it, Schnee. You just don't have the talent.
Yeah.
I agree. This album's less to me.
Less
as
garagey.
well. Oh, Pop. Where do I ban him? I don't hear that at all.
But okay, Rocky Up's a great song. Do Me Any Way You Want
is just as powerful.
Okay. Do Me Any Way You Wanna is great. See, I love the fact that and I don't know if you I mean, One in a Million's another great song. Oh my God. But it was all pretty much guitar. And I love the fact that they kind of introduced when the Romantics had keyboards on their albums, they weren't keyboards like Thomas Dolby or Flock of Seagulls or whatever. But Open Up Your Door, which is the last song on side 1, they added just a little touch of keyboard in there. Just a little touch. It's the first time.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, it's the first time you actually heard that. then you flip the record over. So it wasn't a shock when you heard the keyboards in Talking in Your Sleep. I thought that was a great way to sequence the album. Yeah, I think that this is just a fantastic album. Absolutely. So much so that I again have 2 copies.
Of course you do.
Culture something.
Culture Club.
No, Culture the label.
Culture
Factory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like what they do, but some of the records are, if you go on Steve Hoffman's site, that gets a lot of people all worked up. That Culture Factory mastering is a lot of it's brick walled. Some of it's really good though.
Right. But
Just
no,
depends.
I think this is a fantastic album. I don't think it has the garage sound. I think it's like, okay, let's put it this way. If you take a look at listen to the first album, and let's say it's 60% garage, 40% pop.
Mm.
This album, there's a little change. And then it changed to 60% pop, 40% garage.
All right, you win. I still think it's phenomenal. Every bit as good as the debut.
So do I.
Okay.
Absolutely. I just think it sounds different.
Well, yeah, it sounds different.
So you were just saying
1983 to 1980. Of course, it's going to sound different.
See, he's
all
changing
I'm
his
saying
tune
is I still
because
have the
I'm right.
energy there.
Oh no, totally. The energy's there, but it doesn't sound like
where
the first
other
album.
2 records don't have that.
No, the second album, National Breakout, had the energy, but not the songs. The second or the third album is the one that it was just like an audio belch.
But for sure, replacements aren't power pop. No.
Replacements
Where would you
not
get power pop and replacements? The closest I would think would be that Alex Chilton song, and that's not even close. All right, anyway, I like it. We could fight about this all day, Schnee.
We're not fighting. You're just wrong.
It's fun talking this shit with you, though. That's what's so fun.
I know. Exactly.
You know, I never hold any. It's all good. That's why we're talking music. It's fun.
Exactly.
Even though I'm right, and it's my
Wrong.
show. It's my show.
Oh, yes, you're right about it being your show.
Look at. Good evening, great. It's a great show. It is a good show.
Thank you, Knucklehead.
Thank you, Knucklehead. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming, by the way. If you haven't left,
or however you reacted.
If you haven't left your thumbs up, please leave a thumbs up.
Van Halen is power pop. No.
No.
No, I think they're just
gotta bleed
funning with us. So
They
let's go
are.
on to the next one.
All right, brace yourselves, kids. Of course, you may like this. It's just the progression of what just came before.
Yes. The problem with this album, okay, I really like this album a lot. I think 2/3 of it is really, really, maybe even 3/4 of it's really good.
Okay.
Like Mystified is a fantastic song. But the label said, hey, you know that song on the album you guys did? You know the one with that boom, 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 boom bass? Why don't you write a song just like that? So the thing that kills Mystified is if I played it for somebody or put it on a mixtape or played it on one of my radio shows. Yeah, that's funny.
That's I don't know. I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
Does talking in your sleep remind you of Abracadabra?
No, but it reminds Jillian, and that's what matters.
That's the only thing I matter.
But
please like, subscribe, and leave a thumbs up.
Yeah.
And hit that notification bell. That's the only thing that matters to
me. Yeah. I don't even matter. That's why he hasn't had me on my show, because I don't get those. I don't get the views like he does. He just throws me a bone every now and then because BM Bolt gets all the views.
BM Bolt and DC get all the views.
Yeah, I know.
You know that DC's like a star because I made him a star.
Yeah, I know. That's why he doesn't come to Ski Lodge much anymore.
Yeah, well, usually I have him booked.
Yeah, he just casually just walks in. Hey guys, whatever.
Yeah, he just goes.
Yeah, sorry, I was with the kids. With the grandkids, and I'm thinking to myself, no, I saw you on Grant's show. You fibber.
Mark, wait a minute. Mark says I hear it syncopated. Maybe it's the syncopation between Abracadabra and talk. Maybe that could be it.
But Mystified, like I said, I never put that on comps because I know that people would go, that sounds just like because people are just going to hear like that bass. The song itself doesn't sound like it, but it's kind of produced to be kind of like that. There's another song on the album too that kind of has that feel to it, and there's another song on the album that kind of sounds like One in a Million. But
Yeah.
the rest of the album, I think the songs are as good as the songs on in Heat.
I don't think that.
I'm not talking about the whole album. I'm talking about apart from those ones I just talked about.
Yeah, I think that there's a decrease. I don't think. I know this came out in '85, so you know what? You would have thought that they would have had enough time to write some stuff. I don't think the songs are as good. I mean, Mystify, Test of Time, Rhythm Romance. I like Let's Get Started. All right.
Yeah.
I like it okay, but maybe it's. Do you think that this sounds more arena rock than what came? Do you think that's what it is?
I think this is very much an extension of In Heat.
Okay,
Um,
but
and
like on
I believe.
steroids.
Well, no, I see. I think
No,
it's no. I sort of hear it just as an extension of it. They probably went in and recorded an album, and the label said, "Hey, you don't have a song that has that boom, 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 boom song like So they had to go back and they probably had to take off some songs. I like a lot of this album. I would put it as my fourth favorite after the debut, In Heat, and National Breakout.
do you find this record slicker than the previous record?
I don't find it slicker.
Yeah, I do.
I find it that the label just wanted the same album.
Empty Glass says it seems like a lighter version of In Heat.
Mhm.
Could be.
Yeah,
I
they
just
just
think that they're trying too hard on this record. Where I listen to In Heat, it doesn't sound like they're. The, Rhythm Romance sounds like they're trying too hard, and In Heat doesn't. It just sounds like In Heat just kind of flows to me.
again, it sounds like it might be another label thing. Come on, give us another, you
Yeah,
know.
probably. And I think with the previous record, the record company went, well, crap. We better go back to what you were doing on the debut more. But
Mhm.
you can polish it up. They probably pump more money into it. Of course
Mhm.
they did.
Mhm.
Uh, Kathy, it's your day to watch her, not mine. You live close to her, not me.
I think I
Um,
think I think Annie just said, "Oh, the hell with these guys."
well, she can only take so much of us going back and forth. And if we're not talking something that she knows,
Yeah.
but like most women that watch this show, they don't, nothing against women at all. I'm not saying that. She likes certain stuff. And, she's not, I
Jillian,
don't, I, not
do you have
Jillian.
anything to say, Jillian?
Yeah. I'm saying she's not hardcore like Jillian is.
Mhm. I
It's a
think
dude thing. This is just a bunch of big sausage fest over on this channel. All these guys talking music. I welcome more females. Oh, I love it. But it's just not the way it is.
Mhm. Oh gosh
There's
darn it.
DC. Rhythm Romance should last at least 7 minutes. So DC, you don't care for that. DC's back now. We were just talking about him, and he must have been in the toilet or something. He's back. Okay, here we go. John Patterson always comes in for the win. By 1985, the Romantics had already lost headliner status on the arena level. This band would have been a good matchup at the time to open for Aerosmith, Cheap Trick, Kiss, or even Phil Collins.
I would
If
think
they,
more
go ahead.
maybe Cheap Trick, uh, possibly Kiss, but but well, by this time Kiss kind of were
But
blowing
Aerosmith
chunks.
by this time was Aerosmith was in shambles.
Yeah.
So,
You know who one of the weirdest pairings was the fact that Van Halen asked
that's not what I'm saying, Kyle. You know what I'm saying, Kyle. Don't misinterpret.
You know, uh, the Van Halen in 1982, they asked After the Fire to open their tour because they were familiar with After the Fire's records,
Mhm.
not just the song Dracomasar. And
Yeah.
Dracomasar was kind of like the last single that they recorded because after that, they probably knew that they weren't going to be getting any more. The label just wasn't going to be listening to them anymore. And they were probably felt they were condemned to do Falco covers. But the rest of their catalog is kind of prog influenced new wave. But
My thoughts on this record, though, Steve, I think it's just the changing. Yeah, In Heat was a big record,
mhm,
but that was a couple years before. The music industry was changing. We're getting into
mhm.
that whole hair metal thing. So these guys almost have hair metal hair. Must
Oh
say
my
that.
god, they had such big hair. I mean,
Yeah.
you can go camping in their hair. I mean, just bring a tent and or a sleeping bag and a pillow, and then just plop down in Wally Palmer's hair.
Hmm.
I mean, at least for a weekend.
But 2 years in the '80s is a big. There's a lot can change, and I think it's just they had their moment. This isn't their moment, you know.
Yeah, I'm wondering though if this is another situation where, uh, again, remember all my talking about what was going on behind the scenes and stuff like that. It's all just theories and speculation.
Right.
I don't know if the labels were asking for this or that. All I know is, these are the things that would probably go through my head back, when these records were coming out because I was buying them all when they came out. Because except I have to admit, it took me about a month to finally get around to buying Strictly Personal because I had heard so many people talk crap about it that I thought, oh wait, and then when I bought it, I thought, oh yeah, everyone was right. Um, I don't like to diss artists, diss bands, you know.
I love them. When they're good, they're phenomenal.
Yes.
But
Um,
it's the Cheap Trick thing. Label got involved, I think.
mhm.
Obviously, that's what it sounds like.
Frank's Music says, "Who's better, the Knack or the Romantics?"
Well, you know my answer is on that.
Does your answer involve a singer by the name of Doug Feiger?
100%. That
Yes.
are always at the top for me.
Yeah.
Ever since I was 13.
Hmm.
Made in Detroit EP is best and mostly unavailable. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard that.
I
Or
have
Steve
never heard that, but
Descon.
I thought that Jimmy Marinos was on that EP. And
Could be.
what about this album?
That one you're really gonna have to talk about. I do know that Jimmy's on half of it and Clem's on the other half.
Yeah, 6149. It is pretty much
Oh, I've got the hang on. Don't
uh,
talk yet because I need to have the graphic up.
okay. Yeah,
All right, go ahead.
it's to me, it's better than Strictly Personal, but it's just garage rock. They sound invested in it, but the songs just aren't there.
So for someone who hasn't heard it,
It's
okay. If you
kind
were
of
gonna okay, if you were ranking it,
mhm,
okay, this what I'm hearing is that it's decent, but not necessary.
absolutely.
Okay.
The songs just aren't there.
Hundred
Um,
Trey, 100%. I did see the Knack with Terry Bozzio on drums and stood right in the front row. 20 people, 25 people in the audience.
mhm.
Their best album cover. I do like the album cover. You? What's
Yeah,
your thought? I
yeah.
like it.
But I mean, I re-listened to all these things, and just like I said, it just none of the songs have ever hit me on this. And it's just whatever.
Hmm.
Um, and
I Knuckle, I just want to fight with Schnee. That's the only reason I'm going back.
that's why he hasn't had me on his channel for weeks.
I haven't had you on weeks because we had so much going. I thought I'd give you a break.
Mm.
What? Well, we were going pretty hard there, Steve. You were on like 3 nights in a row. I don't want to overdo it.
Mm.
Thanks, Nathan. I appreciate it. It's always fun to have Steve here.
This will be my last appearance on Grant's Rock Warehouse. I will
unless
be.
you don't want to come on.
I will be making appearances on Schnee's Rock Warehouse, which is over on my channel. But no, if I was going to rank them, and I cannot do. Oh, I'll tell you, Randy. I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not, but I keep forgetting to do my Prefab Sprout CD Junkie. I'm a huge Prefab Sprout fan.
I know that's been talked about it before.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to do a video on my own.
Well, we can do it.
No, you've never heard them.
No, I have everything that they have.
The last time I talked to you, you said you didn't know anything about them.
No, that's wrong. I know everything there is to know about them.
Oh my God.
Never apologize in a debate.
I'm sorry, Mike.
Look at this. You're getting a lot of kudos. Schnee lifts the whole program up.
See,
it's all that red. It's all the red.
I got the Midnight Callers shirt on.
I've got 2 of those CDs.
Yep. Yeah, that's all they put out.
Prefab Sprout. Who's that?
Oh my gosh.
Doesn't know.
Just one of the greatest bands from the UK from the 80s and 90s. And Paddy McAloon was just an incredible songwriter.
So getting back on track, since we're almost an hour, I don't want to go too far over. How would you, if we're going to rank them, we don't normally rank anything, but how would you rank it? Just for giggles.
Starting from the bottom, Strictly Personal, 6149, Rhythm Romance, and anything above Strictly Personal, I think are really good records. But you know, if anybody wants to,
we know the debut and In Heat are 1 and 2.
Yeah. Let's start from the top. Debut, number 1. Number 2, In Heat. Number 3, National Breakout. And then Rhythm Romance, 6149, and then Strictly Personal.
See, I think I'd go In Heat, Romantics. I'd probably go Rhythm Romance, believe it or not. Then National Breakout. And I don't have 6149 is expensive.
Is it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, think about it. They put that out. No, who bought it? Nothing against Romantics, but I don't even remember until I read about it. Well, you buy everything.
If anybody out there has PayPal, you can always PayPal me money and buy these. I have to I have to tell myself, you know what? You're not going to be a completist anymore.
Ash agrees with my top 3. Oh, I love it. All right. So In Heat, Romantics, Rhythm Romance, National Breakout, Strictly Personal, because I can't comment on 6149.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rhythm Romance really doesn't bother. I think it's a little bit more arena rock. Songs aren't quite as there, but it's pretty damn close to In Heat when I listen to it. So, oh, look at this. Montag 451 has a copy. So we know that 2 people bought it.
But the late, great Klemberg. Now let me give you a little bit of. I saw the Romantics probably about 10 years ago live. The lineup was Wally Palmer, guitar, vocals, Rich Cole on bass. He was back. Cos Candler was out. Mike Skill was on guitar, and the drummer was, in my opinion, the perfect guy to replace Clem Burke, one of the best drummers out there. That's Brad Elvis.
Brad Elvis
played in the Romantics, I think, longer than anybody. I think he was probably in the band longer than Jimmy Marinos was. And Brad Elvis would be playing, and he'd hit the drum, and that friggin' drumstick would flip 25 feet in the air. I mean, maybe not that far, maybe
But we're
18 feet in
talking
the air.
the Brad Elvis.
Brad Elvis from the Elvis Brothers. Incredible drummer. And he toured with him for like 13, 15 years. He was like the longest member of the band. And then, unfortunately, during COVID or whatever, when they decided, okay, let's take a little break, now let's head out on the road. Well, Wally Palmer decided to get Cos Candler and put together a new version of the Romantics, and he left Rich Cole, Mike Skill, and Brad Elvis behind. So the version of the Romantics, if there's any Romantics out there touring now,
it's
Wally and
sham. It's a sham.
And all they do is play songs from Strictly Personal.
Wait a minute.
No,
Ash says, "What are the two live?" I haven't heard them, but I would be interested in hearing them. Oh, here's a good. God, this is so tempting, but you've probably already done this. Can you guys do a ranking on? We did a shoe show.
Remember, I don't do ranking videos on my channel. The only time I do them is when you twist my arm and ask me to do it on your budget rate show.
Right.
Or your budget rate channel.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
So you got what?
Didn't we do a shoe show, Schnee? We did. Someone did a shoe show with me.
Oh, I'm sure BM Bolt and DC did it.
Well, they're my number ones.
Yeah, I know. Excuse me.
Or it might have been Todd Evans.
Yeah, you see, Grant cuts me, and then Todd Evans comes back and does shows with Grant.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm thinking,
my number one.
Yeah, I'm thinking, well, I mean, look, guys, this is a conspiracy. Grant has it in for me somehow. And he's been tanking my channel.
Oh, wait a minute. Ash has got something coming up here. What about a Nolan's? I don't know the Nolans.
I don't have enough. Sorry, I don't have any Nolans. I have always wanted to just get their catalog. So let's just do a Bucks Fizz.
Okay, why not rank and review of power pop releases from the late 70s? You've probably already done all that.
I used to have
Mini Pearl.
Hey George, I used to have
Sheena Easton would be good.
Schneena Easton.
Schneena?
Yeah, sometimes I dress up when nobody's around.
Do you? Romantic's largest headline show in Detroit was 4,600 seat venue. I did not know that.
I think overall, just to boil this down, I think the Romantics, great band.
100%.
Absolutely. You listen to this stuff. If you don't have Strictly Personal in your collection, you are not missing anything. If that's the only Romantics albums that you own, then seek help.
I agree. I love them, but then they drive me crazy at the same time.
Who, Romantics or Lemon Twigs?
Yeah, no. Well, Lemon Twigs are great.
Yeah.
The Romantics, because what's really good is really great.
Yeah.
It's,
and then if you just want, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to bag on Strictly Personal that bad because, I mean, I know that, well, nobody would ever watch my channel.
No.
But if they were, let's just say,
if you wanted to slum over there and to Schnee's channel and watch some programming, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. If they stumbled across the show, would they just go, "Oh, Strictly Personal"? Yeah, I kind of have to agree with these guys, or would they be cursing at the TV, said, "Look this," and then turn it off?
Yeah. I don't know.
But I got to be honest, I mean, I feel the same way about Sometime in New York City, and that's an album done by a Beatle. Yeah, but looks aren't everything, Knucklehead.
Well, there was a lot of Yoko influence on that record.
Well, yeah, because she sang half the songs.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what drags? You always have to look at an album. Everyone talks about All Things Must Pass by George as being just the best solo Beatles album, right? But I always have to remind people,
I don't think so, but that's me.
Apple Jam. That takes it down a couple notches because you have to include that third LP because it was part of the box set. It
You know
wasn't a
what? That's
bonus disc.
funny.
It was part of the box set, and
And
that's just like a big pile of stinky cheese.
people don't ever really bring that up.
Yeah,
That does bring it down.
yeah,
Would Paul do
absolutely.
that? Hell no, Paul wouldn't do that.
Yeah, he would just put out
See,
shitty albums like McCartney 3. Just say, I'm just going to give him all crap in one album.
no. Kiefer, I'm not going to do a Beatle ranking. No, that would be so boring for me. I've already said this before. We need another Beatles show like I need another Hole in the Head. The Beatles have been beat down to death. Nothing can be more said about the Beatles. I'd rather talk to romantics who no one gives any airtime to. Beatles would be boring. Rolling Stones would be
Be-
boring.
Beatles, the Beatles are my favorite band of all time.
Mine too.
Nobody touches them. But
Nobody touches them.
there's so much talk out there. It's like, oh my god, not again.
Talking Beatles is low hanging fruit. I could talk them, but I'd be bored about it. I'd rather talk about bands that were underdogs or bands that need to have some notoriety, or talk about a band that maybe I just got turned on to, or something that maybe we're doing a show and I have to study for. That's what I like. The Beatles it's been talked to death. Why I can't even I love it to death, but what can be said, you know?
Yes, exactly. Because
Oh, it's shitty, Kiefer. That's horrible. Jesus. Do you
Frank,
remember Schnee when that came out? Everybody was going, "Oh my God, McCartney 3, McCartney 3."
yeah,
I played it for Carol and she goes, "What is wrong with this album?"
you know, the thing about McCartney has nothing to prove anymore. I will respect him for putting out stuff. I haven't connected with a full McCartney album. I'm not saying his okay, let me rephrase this, I guess. I think McCartney 3 is stinky cheese. But
Yeah, it is.
that's I understand that people are going to love it. And I understand that people are going to love his solo output. I haven't been able to connect to a full McCartney album since McCartney 2. And I know people think that's, some of that's cruddy.
Mm-hmm.
Waterfalls is one of the most beautiful songs he ever wrote. But I've loved stuff throughout his career until McCartney 3. I mean, songs off of each album,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
No, we've only been on an hour, Webb.
Yeah.
Feels like 2 hours
Oh,
now.
geez.
Schnee and I could just rap all the time.
Yeah.
I love Schnee, just to go on record. I razz him, but I love doing shows with Stephen Schnee. I love it. So
I
I
wish
just
I
wanted to
felt the
go on
same.
record. I know you just doing it to try to get views.
Yeah, I'm doing it to try to get views. Speaking of which,
Wait a minute. Here's a valid question. What about McCartney 2? What about Back to the Egg is brilliant.
Back to the Egg is my favorite McCartney solo album.
Favorite,
McCartney and Wings solo album.
That's I put
brilliant.
McCartney's solo separate from Wings. That is my favorite Wings album.
That's my favorite solo. I kind of lump them together. Maybe instead of saying that's my favorite McCartney album, I should say it's my favorite post Beatles album that McCartney was involved with.
That's a good way to say it.
Yeah, I love that.
The Smithereens are awesome. I saw them on the '80s cruise. They were great.
I actually interviewed Pat Denizio when the Beatles covers album came out. Wasn't there a Beatles covers album?
Yeah, I've got that. You know what? I found that used at half price books for $2.
Wow, that's about $3.
And I'd never seen it out in the.
Oh wow!
What? It's no good. You're saying that album's bad?
I'm one of the few people that are not a Big Star fan and not a Smithereens fan.
You don't like Big Star? I think Big Star's brilliant.
Oh no, I know that. I know
brilliant.
That. I think the Rubinoos are better than the Raspberries. But we all hear, like somebody said a little while ago, we all hear things differently.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Back to the Egg. I like all those McCartney rockers on there.
Yeah, and I love
Great.
McCartney too, as well, because a lot of my friends weren't into it because it's got the keyboard stuff on it, right? But it's like I was already listening to that kind of stuff. So House Martin's a great band. Um, so much.
Keith, oh,
Uh,
Kiefer, I just want to add before Schnee goes on, let someone else talk about them. I can't, I would be bored. I could talk Beatles, but I've talked Beatles with my friends back in the day so much. I don't know what, I wouldn't even know what to add. It's all been done.
two things.
Anyway,
Number one, you gotta go to my channel, and I did Beatles What's Coming in 2025, right?
mm,
Every time I do a Beatles video, it's tongue in cheek. They're my
mm,
favorite band, but I don't want to add anything to it. So I do something just, it's never dissing the Beatles. It's more just kind of like making fun of the whole fact that, well, see, here's the irony of it. I did the video to make fun of, not make fun of Beatles fans, but just have fun with the Beatles. So it was this
mm.
whole thing where we did chat IPT album covers, like my first post colonoscopy Beatles album. Yep, Bill Nelson.
Yeah.
And then the Beatles sing silly truck driver songs or silly songs for truck drivers. And then some solo albums and stuff. So if you go to my channel and watch that, it's probably 10 minutes long and has album covers on it and stuff like that. But more importantly, Schnee TV is back.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Season 2 of Schnee TV is back, and Curation Records. I focus on that label. So if you love Americana and great it's all indie music videos, and Uni Boys is in it. Reza from Lemon Twigs is a member of Uni Boys. But also, if you have not heard Thomas Walsh or Pugwash, Grant, then that's somebody you should really check out.
Kathy says that your Beatle video is very good,
Yeah.
but Kathy knows nothing about the Beatles. She only
Right.
knows Donny Osmond and
Right.
Barry Manilow.
Right. But because of that, it was entertaining.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh yeah, I've been called the Schneedles for years. Well, if you guys watch my video, it's probably 2 weeks ago or something like that. I forgot what it's called, but it's Beatles related. You'll see because it's the Meet the Beatles album cover with my
Mhm.
face doing that or whatever. Um, uh, thank you, Webb. But if you watch that video, it's funny, and it does have a reference to the Chipmunks on it, but you have to watch the whole video.
Yeah. Pugwash. Yeah.
Yeah,
Schnee, do you like synth pop? Oh God. Oh
I'm a
Frank.
huge,
Jesus, what a
huge synth buff.
question.
Now, yeah, I'm a massive synth pop fan. In fact, I just did a video on Thomas Dolby, CD Junkie.
Love Thomas Dolby.
Yeah,
Not
except
all of it, but
oh god, Aliens Ain't My Buick is like, that's his equivalent of Strictly Personal.
the first two though are great.
Oh, first two incredible, and the latest two are fantastic too.
Webbs goes, we already did the romantics and we're just shooting the shit, Webb.
Yeah,
You know how this works. It was a romantic show, but you were late.
yeah.
Not my fault. Don't get Schnee started with exactly
DC is not a synth pop fan. Tim Allen, my buddy Tim Allen, if I put anything synth related on my channel, he won't say anything bad in the comments, but he implies like I'll talk for an hour, not an hour, 20 minutes about some band, play a medley, blah blah, and he'll go, so many bands, so little time. That kind of thing.
So Trey, I'm assuming when you make that statement, the Beach Boys and the Birds at top of the list, you're not talking all the Beach Boys albums. You must be talking about a certain era. Same with the Birds, but I'm not making a judgment.
I love the Monkees, but
I
have you
do love
guys
the
heard?
Monkees.
Have you guys heard
Oh
Justice
no, here we
and
go.
Pull It? What Justice is horrible.
Look at this. I'm here to listen to old white guys talk about the song One in a Million.
One
We
in
already
a
did that.
million, baby,
Rob,
you're
we
the
already did
one.
that.
Yeah, we
You're
already did
late.
that.
You already did. Nice collection 12. Oh, look at that. I have a nice collection of 12-inch singles of synth pop records. I went to clubs here in NYC back in the 80s. Nice,
That's
man.
awesome. I'm a huge fan of synth pop. In fact, even though they're not strictly synth pop, they're more like prog new wave. After the
Mhm.
Fire, I have a box set coming out, and I made a short of the box set just as a test short. I put that up today, but then like yesterday or the day before, I did a 2-minute trailer for the After the Fire box set. Yeah, I'm a huge Monkees fan, but I'll tell you, Justice makes Strictly Personal sound like Abbey Road.
You know what? I was really disappointed when that came out. I was looking forward to it. I thought, wow, wow. No, bad.
Yeah. I
Schnee
would
should
love.
never lose the ski lodge. It's his trademark. It is your trademark show.
Mhm.
It should be a call-in show with special guests. 2 hours at least, starting every Saturday night at 2100 hours Eastern.
Or is that 21,000 hours?
I
Maybe
think
he's
it's
living.
21,000 hours.
John is multiverse.
I'm not going to message you, Kiefer, about the 8. You no, you. I thought no, I wouldn't do that. Well, that's more accurate.
Yeah.
Not mine. No, Holland. No.
You see, okay, here's the thing about the Beach Boys, and I was not a big Beach Boys fan growing up. I was a fan of the singles, the hits.
Mm.
So all that stuff was great. I didn't get into the albums maybe until the end of the 80s. And I really learned to, because I was thinking like the albums with the beards and stuff like that, they were so weird that those are lame, right? But since as Al says, Beach Boys Love You is a bizarre album.
Yeah.
I am way into that approach to music. Write great songs, but it doesn't have to gently fit into any category. And the Beach Boys were just, I mean, smoke a dope, it was crazy.
I do love the Smile box set.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, here it is.
Oh, you want
Yeah,
to see?
look how-
You want to see
yeah,
what box set I ripped the other day? This will lose me street. Well, I have no street cred. I understand that.
I know that. And you keep proving it over and over again.
Yep. Rod McEwen.
I I thought it'd be the Phil Seymour box set, but
No.
I need a Phil Seymour show unless Schnee's done everything already. You have it? Uh-oh.
I have the 2 albums and a compilation, but I don't have all those other things that came out. Thank you, Knucklehead.
God, you got one fan.
I don't have fans. I have friends, and Knucklehead's my friend.
Well, the listening parties are starting up on Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. We will be going 3 hours on Sunday. And when I quit doing the listening parties, we were getting about 100 people at once during a show. They were huge. Now I have to rebuild the whole thing again. Thank you, YouTube.
And it's kind of ironic. Like when it shut down, I was there to support him and try to talk him out of his funk or whatever. And then
I wasn't a funk though, wasn't I, Schnee?
Yes, you were, and I was there to
No.
support you 100%.
You were very
And
supportive.
then you just freaking cut me to the point where we were planning.
Bullshit.
Yeah, we
You
were
were
planning.
so full of shit.
No, we were planning to do your first show back. It was going to be an Australian music show. Then the last time we talked about it, you go, oh yeah, whatever. And then you just blew me off.
No,
Mhm.
I'm doing this show by myself just to get the You know.
No, you told me
You know,
the
it's
first show back was going to be me and you.
no. I'm doing it because I can't do. I have to do it by myself.
But
See if I
see,
can
I
still
don't
do
want
it.
to do it with you. Not anymore. Do it with
Oh,
BM
for
Bull.
God. BM
Do
Bull
it
can't
with
do that show.
Todd Evans. Do it with
You're so full of shit.
DC Poop Time.
Oh, DC, look at this. No, there's no theme. I'm just playing all this new shit that I've acquired. Mostly unknown stuff.
Web
Party
our
fighting
combos
spirit.
always get weird.
We're not going to be paying any of that freaking 60s shit either. Just joking. Beach Boys are playing here in I don't know what that is. Claire, Eau Claire,
Oh, Claire, the
Wisconsin.
moment I met you, I
It's not really the
swear.
Beach Boys. It's the Mike Love Show.
I think it's Mike and Bruce.
Only groovy folks listen to Ski Lodge. 100%. You wouldn't have non-groovy people listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. Are we still doing a sweet? Yes, Ash, we are.
Yeah,
But I don't know when.
you might as
I
well
got to
just take.
reschedule all the people that I had scheduled first.
What about all the shows that you were going to schedule for us? We talked about them.
I got it in the book. I'm working on it. Let me get to it, Steve.
You thought
Patience.
DC pooped. No, what do you mean patience? You've had a month.
Had what a month?
No,
you
all the
talking-
shows that we were going to do. We were supposed to do a 999 show. We were supposed to do a cardiac show. We were supposed to do probably
Yeah.
4 or 5 shows, and you just cut me off.
I didn't.
And
cut
I
you off.
cried.
I'm very busy.
I cried for a week.
You don't care. Do
I
a
know I
video
don't.
about Debbie Gibson. Don't tempt us.
Yeah.
I'm not freezing you out. You freeze. No, I'm. Now you think I'm turning against everybody. That's not the case.
You are. You don't care about
You are
anybody.
full
You
of
just
crap.
care about subs, man. I care
That's
about
all
the
I care
music.
about.
I care about the music, and I care
That's all
about
I care about.
love.
Mm. Well, if I cared about the subs, I wouldn't be doing all these shows that I can't monetize. So,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
I can't monetize anyway.
What happened to your afro?
Have you guys seen yeah, up on Facebook?
Oh, that afro.
Yeah, Nadia D did a afro. Oh yeah, I'll do a 999 show on my thing. It's just
Go ahead.
I'm
Fine.
tired of waiting on
Will you calm down? There's plenty of time to do these shows.
I kind of don't have that much time.
Why is there something I don't know? You don't have much time? You're
Don't
fine.
have
You're
much
still full
time.
of shit. I'm still waiting on a Barry show where you'll be waiting a long time, Kathy. I'm still waiting for you to get your knees fixed. Get off of Grant's back, Steve. Steve and I still have to do our Dawkins series.
Oh, that should be really good. Did I
Man.
tell you that when I worked at an import distributor, we also distributed indie labels. And what's Dawkins guitar player? Gosh.
George Lynch.
Yeah, George Lynch. I used to talk to George Lynch every 2 weeks.
No way.
Super friggin' nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great guitar player. Great guitar player.
Super killer nice guy.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. What are Grant and Schnee's thoughts on the current concert industry? New casual fans could care less about whether
that's what he's referring to. I kind of think it's kind of stinky when you go out as a band, and like maybe only the drummers left. But I think though that people should know, I mean, don't put a 1973 picture of a band.
Daddy Bug, how are you? I haven't seen you lately.
Don't put a 1973 picture of the band 4 of the guys are dead, and one of them quit, and only the drummer is involved. Oh yeah, box cutters or box somethings or others. I think bands should be honest about things. There about 20 years ago, Frankie
That's
Goes
it.
to
He's going
Hollywood.
outside. Yeah.
I think that no, I go outside because nobody invites me on their show anymore.
That's
So
really not the case.
that is Frankie. About 20 years ago, Frankie Goes to Hollywood toured, right? And they were actually selling medium-sized clubs, except it wasn't any members of Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Nothing associated with Frankie Goes to
Nobody?
Hollywood. Just a band that was touring under the name Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Wow.
And the band did, of course they had to put a legal action on them to stop them from doing it, you know. You know.
They're not like us. Most people couldn't even name a member of a band. They don't care. Well, it depends upon if you're music people or not.
My buddy Jim, we talk about this a lot. Like, God, do you really want to go see a band like Little River Band? And I want people to really think about this, because I don't just think about myself. I also think about everybody except Grant. My buddy Jim brought his wife and I think either a friend of hers or a couple or her sisters or something to go see Little River Band. And the only member of Little River Band was like the drummer who joined in 1985.
Mhm.
So basically no original members, just the drummer from 1985 who now legally owns the name of the band. And Jim chose not to mention that to his wife. And they went and they had the greatest time. They did. They had a great time seeing Little River Band.
Evidently, it was the
clapped-
bass player.
Oh, okay, bass player. Sorry. And they were none the wiser. They had a great, and they were happy after they walked out, singing the songs and all that kind of stuff. And I think that for people like us, we're going to go, oh, this sucks. But for people who are kind of unaware, nobody knows what Glenn Shark looks like in the U.S. Nobody knows who Beebs Birtles or Global
Warming.
Butterfinger or whatever. Nobody knows what these people look like. So they're oblivious, but they had a great time because it's the music that talks to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, John Farnham, and he had some solo hits as well.
Oh, I did a show on Sea of Tranquility. Pete Pardo and I ranked them.
Yeah, it's funny. Oh, you can cut some of those bands off the list that we talked about doing together because you.
Oh yeah, I did them over on Sea of Tranquility already.
No, you did them on your one band, one video. Like about 3 or 4 of the bands that we talked about doing videos on, you already covered them on your show.
I didn't cover them. I just played a couple of tracks. That's not covering them. It's a 10-minute show.
Yeah.
I briefly more. Are you playing right.
Holland?
What's wrong with Holland?
Nothing.
Hey, I'm just throwing stuff out there for people. They can decide if they like it or not.
Absolutely.
I've got a lot of good.
No, you see, you get a lot of views for it. I don't.
I don't get a lot of views, but my views are up because I've been doing these shows. It's nothing for me to put those together,
Yeah, I know. See, that's an unfortunate thing that I spend so much time editing and
people don't
making
care.
medleys and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I know people don't care, but I do.
Well, that's what makes you different. I care, but I want to.
No, I know what you're saying. I know you're not saying you don't care.
I do care.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to make a medley.
Yeah.
I'll just play the whole damn song.
Yeah, I know.
Because I don't care if I'm making money or not.
Yes, I've got a Zoot compilation. Rick Springfield.
Yeah, I don't have Zoot.
Isn't that a wine cooler? Birtles and James.
It is. Wait a minute, what's this? Zeroing on. Yeah, I'll hit
You
8,000
are.
here shortly. Yeah.
I'm
Well, it's
zeroing.
because I don't stop. I'm a machine.
Yeah.
And I went on. Well, it helps going to different shows. The key to it, ladies and gentlemen, is to network. That's the key.
Mm-hmm. I try to network, but nobody calls me back.
You're
Plus, I
not
don't have
here.
much time left.
Oh God, you are so bad. All right, I'm going to wrap this dog up. We're at an hour
Yes.
30,
Yeah,
and we haven't talked about the romantics in over half an hour.
I know. Isn't that crazy? But that's
So,
us. We're always like this. I mean,
100%.
I mean, folks, we're not going to do it tonight because we've already done it up here.
Wait a
But
minute.
when
Kathy
Grant,
says you'd have to pay. Wait a minute. You have to pay me to see tribute groups.
well, I'm sure you've probably seen them without knowing.
Probably.
But
I'm going to wrap this dog up.
yeah, I was
Go
going to say that um, usually when Grant and I get off, and like I said, we're not going to do it now because we've done it all here. But when we get up, shut down the show, we're still
Yapping
backstage
for another hour.
for at least another hour.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't do it tonight because we just did it now.
Yeah, exactly.
I like talking to everybody in the chat. And this is kind of like a Friday night chat, and I haven't done one for a while.
Yeah,
So it's kind of nice to do a show and then have a chat with everybody.
exactly.
Thanks, George. I love Schnee. Don't get me wrong. I'm just giving him shit. My vaudeville channel has up to 17 subs, and 12 of them died.
That's awesome.
Good for you, DC. I'm so happy for you.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
Wait a minute. I'm checking my sub number real quick.
Yeah, I'm not going to check mine because
I'm at 7,996.
that's probably double what I have.
Yeah.
But I will never ever.
8,000 tonight.
I will never. Before we go, I will never buy subs. I will never create videos just to get subs. And third, I will never go on a big channel to pimp myself because they won't let me.
Oh God.
I mean, gosh, imagine if I was on Schnee of Tranquility. I would probably get immediately in the first week, I'd probably get like another 15 or 20 subs.
Really?
No, I'm just coming up with that number, but no, but they're too big.
Well, oh, look, we're live.
And I'm too annoying of a presence.
Really? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Nobody wants me on because they know I'm just going to friggin' talk circles around them. And half the time it's going to be bad jokes.
Yeah. I'll be honest though. I've gotten more subs going on Brendan Snyder's channel than any other channel.
Yeah, I would love to go on Brendan Snyder's channel, but I can't afford it.
What do you mean you can't afford it?
Slide.
It doesn't cost anything.
$200.
Oh, I didn't have to do that.
Oh, I know, but I probably would.
Well, maybe it might be worth it.
Yeah. So, okay, I have to go eat dinner.
All right. Well, anyway, we're going to let you go. Schnee, thanks for doing it. It's nice shooting the shit.
Thank you. Nice
I
to
will
you.
be having, if Schnee wants to, we did talk about doing that Australian.
So that's the only thing
listening.
That's the only thing you're going to ask me to do. What about 999? What about Prefab Sprout? What about
You said you were doing Prefab Sprout on your channel.
Well, that's because you told me you never even heard them.
Because I was giving you shit. Calm down. It's all fine. Yeah, I got to hit the hay too. I got to work tomorrow. All right. Anyway, Steve, I'll be in touch. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Please leave a like before you go. We will be back tomorrow. What am I doing tomorrow? Am I doing something tomorrow? I don't have my book.
I also have to get my questions together.
Wang Chung.
I have to get my questions together.
Coming. Tell them what's
On my
coming.
channel tomorrow. Well, it's not going to be live on my channel, but tomorrow I'm going to be interviewing Jack Hughes from Wang Chung, both me and Ronnie Barnett. And then
Oh, well, you didn't even invite me. That's great.
Ronnie Barnett is my co-host,
Oh, sure.
just like
Yeah.
BM
Just
Bolt and
throw it
Todd
out there.
Evans are yours.
Well,
And
DC, well,
Logan.
if you want to rub it in, DC and I have something lined up.
Yeah, see?
Anybody know the Deadbeat Poets?
No, nobody cares.
All right. Well, DC, where are you? The band, the power pop band from Youngstown back in the day?
Mm.
DC, who
You don't even know who they are.
I do know, but I can't think of it because I wasn't thinking I was going to talk about it. Give me a second. Blue Ash. Power
Oh,
pop
Blue Ash,
band
yeah.
Blue Ash.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be doing an interview.
Awesome.
Yeah. DC and I.
Yeah. I'm way better at anything that you can ever come up with.
Well, DC, that sounds like a slap in the face.
Oh, of course.
Flip your hair. No, I don't know when it. Yeah, Frank. How do you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
Sexish.
Who just
Seasish?
who just passed away that Frank worked with a lot? Now, didn't
This
Frank
guy.
work?
That's his book. One of his books.
Right, but didn't Frank work a lot with Stiv?
Yeah, he was in the band.
Yeah.
So I got to make sure I get
Awesome.
all this done. But yeah, we're going to talk to him.
Awesome.
He saw that I did that video on the Blue Ash and made a comment, and I reached out to him.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. So I'm reaching people, Schnee. Reaching people.
Oh, yeah, I'm not. But hey, you know what? I don't have much time. And
itch.
when I'm gone, everyone will finally see my videos.
Yeah. Well, they'll outlive you. Our videos will outlive us anyway. So.
I know.
All right, we're losing people. All right, see you, Steve. I'll be in contact. Everybody, thanks for doing it. We will see you later. Keep it clean, everybody. Let's wrap this dog up. There you go.